Satoru Mikami, a businessman, is stabbed and killed by a criminal in the street. When he regains consciousness in the dark, he finds that he has been reborn as slime. With nothing better to do, he spends his time eating all the rare herbs and precious ores he comes across. As he does so, he encounters the storm dragon Veldora, who was trapped in this cave 300 years ago by a hero's unlimited confinement skills. He is intimidated at first, but as they talk, he befriends the long-isolated Veldora. The slime, which has been renamed Rimuru Tempest, helps Veldora find a way to break the cave's seal by using his predatory skills, swallowing him inside of his body to analyze his knowledge of the spell containing him. Having acquired greater skills by swallowing other creatures, Rimuru exits the cave after the entrance is opened by a group of human adventurers. Rimuru then encounters a group of goblins who ask for his help protecting them against a pack of direwolves. Teaming up with the goblins, Rimuru battles the direwolves and kills their leader, forcing them to surrender. Convincing the goblins and direwolves to stay together, Rimuru begins giving them all names, but then falls asleep for 3 days, not understanding how much of an exertion it is to name his new friends. When he awakens, he learns of the powerful effect of giving names to the goblins, and that even though he only named one of the direwolves, it developed them all since they operate as one pack. Realizing that the goblins have no skills for making houses or clothes, Rimuru and a small group of goblins go to the city of Dwargon to seek help from some dwarf craftsmen. Upon arriving at Dwargon, with Gobta the goblin, Rimuru gets into a fight with some thugs and is thrown in prison. He's eventually freed after providing potions to the defenders and is introduced to the blacksmith, Kaijin. Rimuru helps him to fill orders for longswords in exchange for his help in providing craftsmen for the goblin village. As Rimuru and the dwarves celebrate at an elf bar, a figure draws near. A fortune teller elf decides to predict Rimuru's destined one and shows him a vision of a girl parting ways with her family. When Vesta, the minister who ordered the swords, arrives and insults Rimuru, Kaijin punches him in anger, resulting in him, Rimuru, and the other dwarves getting arrested and put on trial. During the trial, the Hero King, Gazel Dwargo, who has a history with Kaijin, exiles him and his men, who join Rimuru as his team of artisans. After also exiling Vesta for his dishonest actions, Gazel, noticing Rimuru's connections with Veldora, dispatches a ninja to follow him. After being exiled from the nation of Dwargon, Rimuru and the dwarves return to the village of the goblins. After their arrival, they meet a lot of goblins from other villages, who Rimuru proceeds to name. A few days later, some adventurers arrive after being chased by fire ants and are saved by Rimuru, with one of the adventurers being another world traveler. While the others are having a meal, he talks to her about their former home while riding on Ranga. Shizu dreams about her past, about when she was summoned by Leon and he had Ifrit, the fire spirit, possess her. She recalls the anguish she felt when Ifrit, residing inside her, killed a new friend she had made and the little monster they named together, after she and Leon were considered enemies by the monster. Later, just as Shizu prepares to leave Rimuru's village with the adventurers, Ifrit once again takes control of her and unleashes his flames upon the village. With his water attack proving ineffective, Rimuru copies Aaron's ice magic spell to take care of Ifrit's minions. When he discovers that he is immune to fire attacks, Rimuru swallows Ifrit, separating him from Shizu in the process. Now, Ifrit lies trapped in Rimuru's stomach, where he encounters the monstrous being known as Veldora. Shizu tells Rimuru about someone known as the Hero, who took her in and showed her the right path before mysteriously disappearing one day. Sensing her life is coming to an end, Shizu asks Rimuru to convey her final wishes to Leon before asking him to eat her, as she doesn't wish for her body to remain in this world that she doesn't like. This gives him the ability to take a human form. As Rimuru decides to seek out information on Leon to fulfill his promise to Shizu, a masked man named Gelmute recruits an orc that he names Geld with the intention of bringing forth a great orc disaster in the forest. Rimuru and the goblins' village is developing nicely. The dwarves are building all kinds of houses and furniture, and the local goblin lords have appointed Rigurd as the Goblin King. As Rimuru watches everything coming together, he decides to return to the cave and test the skills he received from Shizu. While there, he receives a request for help from Ranga through thought communication and rushes back to find his friends facing 6 ogres. One of them orders Rimuru to reveal his true identity. What is going on in the great forest of Jura? Rimuru's village enjoys their banquet, while he, Rigurd, Rieger, Gobta, and Kaijin hear about the ogre's story from their young master, after which he suggests they become his subordinates to increase their overall fighting potential. After thinking about it overnight, the young master agrees, and Rimuru decides to name all of them, causing their evolution. Meanwhile, an army of 200,000 orcs makes their way towards the Lizardmen's residence. The Lizardmen attempt preparations for backup to fend them off, realizing the enemy leader might be the legendary fearsome monster, the Orc Lord. Gabiru arrives at Rimuru's village to try and get everyone to serve under him to fight the orcs. Gobta is sent to duel against Gabiru and defeats him quickly with the skills he's learned, forcing the Lizardmen to retreat. Later, Rimuru is approached by a dryad named Trainee, who asks him to defeat the Orc Lord. Trainee explains that the Orc Lord has used a starved ability on the orcs, causing them to constantly crave sustenance and even eat their own to gain more power. Accepting Trainee's request, Rimuru sends Soe to negotiate with the Lizardmen for an alliance. As the chieftain urges his soldiers not to engage in battle with the orcs until Rimuru's group arrives, Gabiru, swayed by the words of Gelmud's messenger Laplace, usurps the chieftain's position and leads the Lizardmen into a direct attack on the orcs, unaware of the Orc Lord's true power. Rimuru and the others make their way towards the Lizardmen's tribe, as Soe discovers their head guard fighting a bunch of orcs. After saving him, Rimuru establishes their alliance, and they immediately make their way into the battle. As Gabiru is losing a one-on-one duel against an orc general, Gobta, Ranga, and the Goblin Riders come to the rescue. As Kaijin and Ranga massacre many of the orcs with powerful, wide-range attacks, Soe rescues the Lizardman chieftain. A furious Gelmud begins flying to the scene, and Rimuru spots the Orc Lord, thus leading to the final battle. Gelmud arrives and attacks those who foiled his plans, only to have Rimuru fend them off and heal those he injured. He orders Geld to save him, eat others, and evolve into an orc disaster and a demon lord. Remembering the first task he was given after being named, Geld kills and eats Gelmud as the quickest way of evolving. He and Rimuru battle as the two devour each other, resulting in Rimuru's victory as he appeases the fading, guilt-driven Geld into the afterlife. Rimuru and company, Trainee, the Lizardmen, and the Orcs discuss the future and form the Jura Forest Alliance, with Rimuru as their chancellor. Meanwhile, with plans gone awry, Demon Lord Clayman cooks up another scheme. 3 months pass, and the village has advanced a lot, and Gazel Dwargo suddenly makes a surprise visit with his army. After a brief duel to test Rimuru's character, they drink that night and decide on a treaty with the armed nation of Dwargon, thus declaring and establishing their developing village as a new nation, named the Jura Tempest Federation. King Gazel Dwargo brings Vesta over as a researcher, while Gabiru and other lizardmen join Tempest and are named. Everyone gets assigned to their own posts, where, in the meantime, Demon Lords Clayman, Frey, Carrion, and Milim Nava watch a recording of Rimuru's battle against Geld. Agreeing to cancel the non-aggression pact on Jura Forest with these other Demon Lords, Milim arrives at Jura Tempest Federation, where she fights his top subordinates, but finally loses to Rimuru due to the temptation of honey. The two of them become best friends, and Milim decides to live there, with Rimuru unaware of the power struggle between the Demon Lords this just caused. Vesta succeeds in developing a full potion equal to Rimuru's potions, which prompts Rimuru to attempt negotiations to develop low potions in Tempest. Just then, Phobio, Beast Katir of the Demon Lord Carrion, comes to Tempest with the intention of taking it over, but is promptly dealt with by Milim before Rimuru resolves things peacefully. offering Milim a new weapon in exchange for information, Rimuru learns that the other demon lords have their sights set on him for foiling their plans to create a puppet demon lord. Later, the Border Survey Corps, led by a man named Yom, joins Eren's party and comes to Tempest, where Rimuru asks them to take credit for defeating the Orc Lord. Meanwhile, the demon lord Clayman takes an interest in a powerful beast known as Charybdis and sends Tyr the Harlequin to investigate. As Phobio fumes over his humiliation at Milim's hands, Tyr and Footman, two of Clayman's Harlequins, approach and convince him to become a demon lord himself so he can get revenge on Milim. All he must do is let Charybdis possess his body and maintain control. Phobio breaks the seal on Charybdis, waking it up. Tyr reveals that she was under orders to revive Charybdis and send it Milim's way. Trainy's sister, Traya, warns Rimuru about this revival. Born from a cloud of Veldora's magicules, Charybdis is the mindless ruler of the skies, focused only on destruction. It summons 13 Megalodons from the spirit world to aid in its rampage and heads to Jura. Rimuru and the Dwargon Empire prepare for battle. Assisted by 100 Pegasus Knights from Dwargon, Rimuru's forces destroy the Megalodons and attempt to destroy Charybdis with a full-scale attack, but fail. Rimuru then battles Charybdis himself, only to discover it's possessing Phobio, and its true target is Milim. At Rimuru's request, Milim defeats Charybdis, but spares Phobio's life. After the battle, Phobio apologizes for all the trouble he caused, and his master, the demon lord Carrion, establishes a non-aggression pact with Jura Tempest. Rimuru and the others finally discover that all the troubles they faced recently were caused by Clayman's Harlequin. The city celebrates its victory with filleted Megalodon. That night, Rimuru has a dream about Shizu's regret over not being able to help her students. 5 children brought to this world, named Kenya, Chloe, Gale, Ryota, and Alice. Rimuru goes to the kingdom of Ingracia with Ranga to see them. There, he meets Yuki Kagurazaka, the Grand Master in charge of the children, who's only a teenager himself. Yuki arranges for Rimuru to teach Shizu's students, but warns him that while the two of them are otherworlders who came there, the children are summons who are meant to be weapons for the kingdom. They have so much energy in their young bodies that it will kill them within 5 years. Rimuru vows to honor Shizu's wish and find a way to save them. Shizu's students don't show Rimuru much respect, so he decides to show them the difference in their skill and gain their respect in a series of one-on-one duels. Kenya uses fire magic, Chloe water magic, Gale fires magic bullets, Ryota uses body enhancements, and Alice uses puppetry to control toys to attack him. They lose, but the level of energy in their bodies doesn't decrease, nor can he separate their magic from them as it's fused with their souls. After, Rimuru shows them Shizu's mask and promises to save them. They call him Teach. Rimuru visits Trainee, believing the children will be fine if they can make superior spirits inhabit them. Shizu was summoned as a small child, but lived to adulthood, possibly because of Ifrit. Trainee tells him to go to the dwelling of spirits, but as the queen of spirits that the Dryads served is now dead, they have lost their link to it and can no longer find the entrance. While on a picnic with the students, they see a sky dragon heading to the capital, but Rimuru interferes and eats it with gluttony. Mjolnir, a merchant Rimuru saved, invites them to dinner. Mjolnir's intelligence network has told him who Rimuru is, and Rimuru invites him to come to Tempest to help them sell their wares. He agrees. Mjolnir's assistant asks the Queen of Spirits to protect the children, and tells a curious Rimuru that she came from a village near the dwelling of spirits. He, Ranga, and the children head there. Rimuru, Ranga, and the students enter the dwelling of spirits, and a spirit in the opening labyrinth battles them with a giant metal golem to test them, though Rimuru quickly incinerates it. The labyrinth spirit introduces herself as Ramirez, one of 10 demon lords, though she's so small that no one believes her. She explains that Leon, who summoned Shizu, used to be a hero before he fell from grace and became a demon lord. Likewise, she used to be the Queen of Spirits before dying and returning as a demon lord. In exchange for creating a new golem for her, Ramirez agrees to aid Rimuru in summoning superior spirits. A plethora of inferior spirits answer the prayers of Gale, Alice, and Ryota, so Rimuru devours them and turns them into 3 new superior spirits, which successfully inhabit the 3. Kenya summons and is inhabited by a superior spirit of light. An unknown spirit-like being appears, and Veldora reacts to its presence. Despite Ramirez' attempts to stop it, as she feels it's dangerous, it still possesses Chloe. Regardless, the dangerous energy in the 5 children calms, meaning they will not die in a few years. Rimuru makes a new golem for Ramirez, and they return to Ingracia. Yuki thinks it's unlikely that the nations that abandoned the children will try to take them back, so they should be able to live normal lives. Rimuru doesn't tell Yuki how he saved them. He thinks about the past 2 years and declares that all their problems have been solved. He gives Chloe Shizu's magicule suppressing mask, but isn't certain why, simply feeling it was for the best. Unknown to Rimuru, a shady woman is spying on him. A dying woman summons a demon to avenge her and her partner, and the demon agrees to her request, deciding that it would be an amusing distraction. Shizu's memory. Shizu is summoned to the kingdom of Filtwood with other adventurers to stop a demon from taking its remains under the castle and reviving. Upon hearing that Silver Wings, a pair of famous adventurers, were killed by the nameless demon, some try to withdraw. The minister refuses to let them leave, revealing that some are possessed by demons, which causes paranoia among the group. One of the crowd, the demon from before, starts laughing, claiming the knights summoned the lesser demons, but doesn't explain further. Having been hired to kill a demon, he reveals that he intends to kill all the other adventurers present to find the responsible party. Shizu refuses to let that happen and duels with the being, who calls himself Black. One of his blows is reflected by Shizu's mask and takes off his arm. He decides to withdraw, saying the fight was entertaining because Shizu was able to hurt him. Afterwards, Shizu recalls how Leon told her the most powerful demons were the progenitors, known by colors like rouge, red, and noir, black. One of the knights summons her to see the king and takes her beneath the castle. It's revealed that the king and minister were puppets of the same demon she was hired to stop, who has taken on the persona of Orthos, the hero who previously defeated him, thus gaining him the name Orthos and becoming an archdemon. He intends to sacrifice the adventurers and Shizu, who is still worn out from her fight, so he can regain his full strength. Orthos is able to defeat her, but Black appears just in time and kills the king and minister. He reveals that he was summoned by the dying Silver Wings to avenge them, and he's keeping his promise. He scolds Orthos for being overconfident, despite being a dependent of Rouge, and destroys his soul. Officially, the king and minister were killed by Black, who Shizu then defeated. As long as they keep their story straight, Black says he has no reason to target Shizu, then leaves. After the credits, Black observes Rimuru through a scrying glass and declares that next time, Rimuru will lead him to the truth of this world. Thank you for sticking until the end. Subscribe for more videos like this.